Hello everyone and thanks for hanging out with me. Today I want to tell you all about the test drive in the Volkswagen Id.3. So as most of you know, I was invited last Thursday, December 12th in Dresden was the Id.3 pre-booking event. I was invited amazingly early around November and as an influencer, and I was invited for the test drive. So they told me the test drive and I didn't know anything around the event because I told them that I want to test drive the car and they were nice enough to say yes, I will give you the chance, and I will make a video about this because it was amazing how they invited me. And but nobody else should know about this. A few people knew, but it should have been a surprise for the pre-bookers that were there, but it got leaked a week before, so it was a bit sad. A few dealers in Germany even sent out the mail about the daily schedule and everything, and then there were videos posted, of course, about it because it was news. Yeah, it was a bit sad, but still a few I'm sure didn't know, and it was amazing. By the way, about the whole Id.3 event, I will make a bit more videos about it. I filmed a vlog, of course, about the whole day. Then I have everything I got to know about the Id.3 that I didn't know before. There was so much that they told us, and they got answered by questions, and you saw my interview with Silke Bakshik that told me a few things that we didn't know. So much stuff, and it's 2 pages of stuff that is great. And also I have a new feature list that's way better than the feature list we had before for the Id.3 itself, so not the first edition, so what every Id.3 will have. And then about the first edition, all the 3 lines, a bit more in detail what the feature list is, and I will make videos about this. Then we have presentations, 5 presentations there. I will post those. I filmed them. It's not perfect audio, but it's fine. And they're in Germany. I was there at the German day. It was the first day, and I liked it more that it was the first day that I was one of the first who was driving the car until, not that I come in a day later and then I drive, but then it would all been in English because it was a 3-day thing. But yeah, let's go back to the test drive. So I'm very sorry that I didn't film myself inside driving, but I was not man enough. It was also surprising. So when I got invited, they told me I cannot film inside the car. Then I asked, because it's a prototype and the dashboard is not up to what the production car will look like, and if people see that, then they think this is what the production car would look like. But no, they didn't want that. Then I said, what if I film myself, so like this, and you don't see the car? I said, that's fine if it's not a safety issue. And then when we drove there with the bus, everybody from the Volkswagen people said, no filming inside the Id.3. I said, okay, but maybe, yeah, we'll see. Have to ask the guy who invited me. And then before the Id.3 test ride, they even said it again, no filming inside the car. And then it all happened so fast. They said, okay, group, blah, 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 we'll now test drive Id.3, and I was in the group, and then we went out and drove. So in like 30 seconds, I was in there, and I had my camera prepared, everything, a little small action camera and so, but it was also fast, and I didn't want to ask, and it was a hassle, and I wanted to drive. That's all on me, I'm sorry, but also when you would have seen me inside, there are a few videos out there, you can watch them. It's a bit more entertaining, it's true, but I can give you way more info right now. So outside, that's important. Outside, when you see the car, it was I'm sure they all had heat pump because they were amazingly loud when they were standing there preheating, and that's a big sign for the heat pump. By the way, drive noise, that they now released the noise that the Id.3 is making, so from 0 to 30, then 30 to 0 down for pedestrian safety. when you hear the sound alone, you say it's loud, and there's a video out where it's amazingly loud. But when the car is actually driving, it's totally fine. It's like any other EV, like the Hyundai Kona when they have the FES on. It's totally fine. And the most important thing, you don't hear it inside. The car is amazingly quiet inside. Not up to a level of Jaguar I-Pace or Audi e-tron, but really amazingly quiet. Well, let's talk about what we did. So we went out a lot of cornering, and I'll show you a bit of footage here in the back, where we drove amazingly slow, and then we came to that racetrack, and the racetrack has a bit of a round and a steep banking, not like this. And what we did is when we were on that racetrack, we stopped, had full acceleration up to 120 or so, and then she said, okay, slow down a bit, not so fast. But I know that someone even drove up to 170 because those prototypes didn't have the limiter that the version that we all get has, where it only goes up to 160, but I'm pretty sure it's 160 GPS, so every other car where they said this is the top speed, you still go a bit more. So it will be 165, 167, something like this. Totally fine. But we accelerated there, then we went through the steep banking with the 120, 130, so you can feel how it is when you drive a bit. And then we went through little corner exercise, so we could feel how the cornering is, and she always pushed us, come on, step on it, come on, do a bit, oh, come on, you can do it. And it feels great in corners. It really felt great, but that's electric car style, but it's not like an SUV, like the e-tron, where it's a bit of swimming. So it really felt solid. Then we stopped with regen, and then we did a turning circle exercise where you can see how amazingly small or low, I'm pretty sure small because it's a distance thing, 10.2 meters of turning circle, and it's amazing. When you're in standstill, the steering wheel can, I think, 1.5 times of turning, but when you're driving it goes one more. And so because the car is rear wheel drive, the tires in the front can turn amazingly far, and so your turning circle is great. And then we went back, and this was one lap, and everybody did two. And it was amazing. It's just a 10-minute thing. And what I can say, well, let's go through all the steps. So first, the car doesn't drive unless you have the seatbelt on. So you cannot put it in drive unless the seatbelt is on. There's no seatbelt warning because it just doesn't drive. I'm sure there's seatbelt warning for the passengers. If it recognizes there's someone sitting and doesn't have the seatbelt on, I'm sure there's a warning. But for the driver, it doesn't drive. The other thing is, and we'll say that with the feature list, this was, I'm guessing, a higher spec version, so that the people can test everything. It was prototype where they were doing performance testing. Of course, there's no start-stop button. You get in the car, press the brake, and put it in gear on the side of the instrument cluster, and then you can drive. Like in a Tesla or anything, and no start-stop, no release the parking brake. It's just that. And important, the main screen didn't work very well because this was not what they were there. They were testing driving, and we were too. And they told us before, this is not functioning the way that it will. We saw a different car then in the showroom that was working as it should. But the instrument cluster worked. They call it, I think, the IID. So it's just a tiny instrument cluster where the gear selector is on top, and the gear selector works normally. So if you move it the top forward, you get into D. Do it again, you get in B, where you get regen. So before it's just coasting. When you do it backwards, you get from D into neutral, and if you do it again you get into reverse, and if you press the side then you have park, and then the parking brake goes on automatically. Where was I? I was wanting to say something. Yes, and important is that the speed, the instrument cluster worked, and the speed was shown not in increments, so it was going on. So for example, the Renault Zoe has this, the old Renault Zoe had this crap thing where it doesn't show every number. It shows 12, 19, 24, something like this, but this shows every number, 19, 20, 21, 22, just faster and you accelerate more. And I like that way more. Okay, what can I say? First, acceleration. We did it from not standstill, but bit of rolling, but somebody else did on standstill. It's the same, because it's rear-wheel drive. What you noticed right away, the motor is in the back. I've never driven an electric car before with only the rear-wheel drive. I had all-wheel drive and I had front-wheel drive, but not only rear-wheel drive. You almost don't hear the motor because it's in the back, so far away from your ear, and there was perfect traction. This was not the greatest day. It was wet, it was damp, it was totally cloudy, even a bit of fog. What temperature? I think 3-4 degrees. So not the best weather, but I was driving myself twice, and then someone that was with me in the car did it twice, and all the others that were there were testing it. 150 people, I think, through the day, and then 2 days afterwards, and everybody said perfect traction. You put your foot down and perfect, and not in, oh, nothing's coming, the electronics have to work, oh my god. No. Boom! It just went, and perfect traction, and that's a reason why they did this. And you feel it. The acceleration is very good. It's the same, I would say a bit better than what Kona and e-Niro and e-Soul do, but it's not Tesla level. So a Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive long range, poof, that's just power. This was 7.5 seconds, 0 to 100. It felt great. It didn't feel like a sports car, but it felt, for me who has driven, I don't know, 10, 12 different electric cars, and a few of them, 4 or 5, have around 5 seconds from 0 to 100. This is different. Yes, but this is a people's car. Volkswagen, they didn't want that. They didn't want a sport car. Maybe there's a sport version coming, who knows? All-wheel drive, who knows? But this is not that thing. But it feels better. The Hyundai Kona always had the problem with traction. It has a torque vectoring, by the way, so it can put the power to one wheel or the other. It can decide what's better traction. So it feels way better than the Hyundai Kona. The e-Niro and e-Soul feel better than the Kona, but that the reason for that is that the electronics are lowering the torque in the beginning and then increasing it a bit, so you don't get spinning wheels, so you don't lose traction. But here we didn't feel that. It just went, and that was great. Next part was through the banking. Felt fine to me. It felt solid. The steering was amazing. The steering was not too soft. I hate that. You felt in control. The steering wheel had a good grip. It wasn't too thick, wasn't too small, too big. Perfect thing. And the steering had good weight in it, and you felt in control. I liked it a lot. Then we did the cornering, and the cornering was amazing. Again, not a sports car, but better than Kona, way better in cornering, and way better than some electric SUVs. But that's of course because they're high cars and they're more for that they have more space from the bottom. But it really felt good. And the guy, I wasn't too fast, but the guy who was with me, who then was doing his 2 laps, he drove a bit faster. Totally solid. Then I tested the regen. Regen is okay. It's not amazingly strong. Hyundai Kona in level 3 is stronger. I would say it's between level 2 and level 3 of the Hyundai Kona. The same as as Tesla has. It's not amazingly strong, but it's not it's not coasting, so you almost don't feel it. It's really good, and there's only one level. You put it into B, there's regen, and that's it. No more levels. And if you want to coast, you put it in D. And so we did this. Then we stopped. Brakes felt amazing, normal. So I didn't feel anything that was weird. Then we did the turning circle, and you really feel, you turn, and you're like, that can't be it. You stand there and you feel like the car is moving while it's standing there, just turning around. It's amazing turning circle, and I know some people say, what? Why you want that? But if you're in a smaller city and if you're in a parking place, a spot, and you have to turn, that's really helpful. It felt great. You cannot do it when you're standing. So when you're standing, you can do it like 1.5 times. But when you're driving, you can do it 2.5 or almost, or maybe it was 2. I can't remember. But the turning circle was amazing. And then we drove out a bit. And when you did it the second time, you drove a bit faster and a bit with more fun. It felt great. Outside noise was amazingly quiet. Again, not I-Pace level or Audi e-tron level, but good. And the road noise as well. Even though the road, I wouldn't say wet, but damp, was really quiet. I think we had the 20-inch wheels, but winter tires. I know that. It was just amazing. Yes. So, drive-wise, it was great. Can only recommend it. Again, we did it for 10 minutes, everybody. It's hard to say in all the details, but they really made an effort for us to drive the car and to experience it. And yes, it was amazing. So if you have any questions about the test drive, maybe I forgot something, tell me in the comments below. And wait for the other videos. There will be a lot. Yeah, it was a great day. It was amazing. And thanks to Volkswagen and for the one who invited me. You know who you are. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.